From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Happy holidays from Weather NorCal and our sponsors. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger, Weather NorCal, and you know that valley fog, the gray skies that we saw throughout the day today, well, that's going to stick around tonight. We got the valley fog tonight and even into tomorrow, but I do anticipate at this point that we'll probably start to see clearing later on in the afternoon tomorrow, but it should persist through a good part of the morning as well. That wet weather pattern I've been talking about all week, that returns this weekend through most of next week, off and on showers in the forecast, with snow levels initially starting off mainly above 5,000 feet this weekend and even into early parts of next week. And on Saturday, it's the first day of winter known as the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Of course, the good part is after that, the daylight hours will get longer and longer after that. All right, let's get you through Krueger's Quickcast for your Thursday, December 19th. A quick look at your forecast for tonight. There's the fog in the valley. We have some patchy fog for Trinity County. I think even some of those mountain valleys, we could see some fog as well. But otherwise, it's going to be cold. Temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s there. And for the coast, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures there tonight in the upper 40s. Out the door tomorrow morning, of course, we're starting out with that fog. And some of it could be patchy, dense fog in the valley. So be aware of that for your morning commute once again. Trinity County seeing the patchy fog as well as along the coast. And we're looking at those temperatures quite cold, especially in the eastern mountains in the low to mid 30s. Let's take a look at that forecast visibility going into tonight and tomorrow morning. There you can see some of the dense fog that we will see in the valley. But look at this. By noon tomorrow, we're beginning to see that fog begin to dissipate. Much better signs than what we saw, of course, today. And by the afternoon, it looks like maybe much better visibility. Now, despite the fact that the fog may be clearing out, we've actually got some clouds which will be coming in, so it's not going to be entirely sunny once that fog does burn off. But we take a look at our satellite image, there's that cloud cover I was talking about. Now, the thing is, this is a storm system with some good rain, but the problem is it's butting up against a ridge of high pressure, and it's preventing us from really seeing any rainfall from it. However, that being said, there may be some sprinkles, especially for the coast, through the day tomorrow, Trinity County, western Siskiyou County, and maybe even a stray sprinkle for parts of the valley as we take it through the day. See that? This is all pushing through. It's very insignificant what you just saw there, but that could bring us some of those stray sprinkles. Otherwise, it's mainly dry for your Friday. It's Saturday right here. That's what's going to be coming in here Friday night and Saturday. That's the first push of some decent rain heading our way. But until then, just a few sprinkles here for tomorrow. The winds, they're picking up tomorrow morning for the coast. In central Siskiyou County, unfortunately, that's where we have, especially if you drive a big rig, that could be a problem on I-5 in Shasta Valley in central Siskiyou County. But otherwise, the wind's not that strong for the valley and maybe a little breezy in spots here east of the valley. All right, so for tomorrow, I've got the cloudy skies in there, but as I mentioned, it will burn off a bit later on in the afternoon, and I do expect temperatures mainly in the 40s for the higher elevations, and for the coast, you've got your highs probably somewhere in the low 60s. By the way, the highs in the valley will really depend on how quickly that fog burns off, but I've got you generally in the mid 50s. If it burns off sooner, probably somewhere in the low 60s. But there you can see the showers returning over the weekend, off and on all the way through next week. I'm still keeping Christmas dry, but that may change. We'll see. And of course, for the coast, also dry conditions here. Everyone at this point looking at dry conditions for Christmas Day. But as I mentioned, I'm starting to see maybe some indications that that may not be the case. But basically, at the end of the day, we're talking about off and on rain here for the weekend, all the way through the end of next week and possibly even into that next weekend. All right, that's a look at Krueger's Quickcast. Before we get into the deeper dive, I do want to remind you that you can watch Weather NorCal on your big screen TV. As long as it's a smart TV, you have access to the internet. If you have a YouTube app on your smart TV, You can watch my latest forecast. You can watch the 24-hour streaming channel, special programming that I have. Everything that I offer is right there on that YouTube channel. Just search for Weather NorCal, the Weather NorCal YouTube channel. Also, if you have a Fire Stick or Roku on the app there, you can search for Weather NorCal and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. Check it out. I think you'll really like it. It's a great way to watch me right there on your big screen. Well, here's the next storm system that's approaching, but as I mentioned, it's butting up against a ridge of high pressure, so it can't really hold on to itself. The main impact is going to be the clouds, high and mid-level clouds moving in through the day tomorrow, and some of those sprinkles that I mentioned. Otherwise, it's going to be fairly dry, and then the storm system here, that's what's moving in by the time we get into your weekend, especially Friday night and Saturday is what this storm system is going to be moving in. Now, the overall setup is, you've got to have a moisture source in order for these storms to bring us the decent rain. So essentially, you've got these areas of low pressure. This is the main source of moisture, right? Where you see the yellows, oranges, and reds, that's a stream of moisture. And many times these storm systems, they're dry and they're cool up to the north, but they don't have much of a moisture source. But if it has a moisture source to tap into, like we have, then we get good rain out of it. So let's take you into Saturday. Here's the area of low pressure. There's the moisture source aimed right at Northern California. Let's take you into your Sunday and your Monday. Where's that moisture source? Right here. Look at that. Good source of moisture, area of low pressure tapping into it, good rain coming in. All right, we got another moisture source coming in right here and a much stronger moisture source coming in here by Tuesday. And this looks like this will probably be more like Wednesday night into Thursday, giving us a decent amount of rain. And then another push coming in toward the end of next week and most likely even into that next weekend. So this, what we were just looking at, is indicative of a Pineapple Express or an atmospheric river. Now, what we're seeing here, remember, when we get into AR1, that's essentially just beneficial rain and nothing to be worried about. When you start getting into AR2, the green, that's mainly beneficial rain, but sometimes you can get just enough rain to where you could see the potential for some minor flooding, mudslides, and debris flows. Also, sometimes you can get some wind events in there as well. The winds can get a little gusty as well. We've seen that. But we're nowhere near AR3, 4, or 5, so we don't have to worry about major flooding. This is what you want to see. You want to see these spikes. An atmospheric river for a short period of time, you see a break, another atmospheric river for a short period of time, a break, then another atmospheric river for a short period of time. So it's kind of that off and on rain that we've got with this trend for the weekend going through next week. All right, so let's walk you through the timing of the first round of rain coming in. So, as I mentioned earlier, we've got these sprinkles that could come through the day on Friday, mainly for the coast, Trinity County, and Siskiyou County. Now, we may see some of those make their way down to the valley floor, but bottom line, it's just not going to be much. It's Friday night. You see that? Now we go into midnight, Friday night and Saturday. The main band of moisture still off to our west. We're beginning to see the heavier rainfall come in the early morning hours for the north coast, Trinity County, western Siskiyou County. The valley gets in on it in the early morning hours around 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're seeing the heavier rainfall. We're also seeing still fairly dry conditions off to the east. Now, keep in mind, we may see an embedded thunderstorm in here, but at this point, I think it's just going to be in the form of rain. And notice the snow. Yeah, we're seeing snow, but that's mainly above 5,000 feet. I'm not anticipating any problems on I-5, just the wet weather. I'm not anticipating any major problems on some of those lower mountain passes, say around 4,000 feet. You have to go around 5,000 feet or higher before you start running into problems. And I think that's where we'll see some of those higher mountain passes east of I-5. We could see some chain requirements there for Saturday morning. We go into Saturday around noon. Most of it's off to the east. We're still seeing a little bit of rain on I-5 there, but it looks like things are starting to dry out behind it. And then by Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, we're really drying things out for the most part. We're getting our first break. So some good rain coming in Saturday. Saturday evening, we get a well-deserved break. And really even through Sunday morning as well. You can see this first little batch of moisture, but it's really Sunday afternoon that we'll be looking at our next batch of some decent rain coming in. So how much rain can we expect through this first batch of moisture coming through Saturday night? How about a quarter to a half an inch in the valley? How about a half an inch to over an inch for parts of the north coast? And of course, maybe about a quarter of an inch or so out towards the north and east. How much snow can we expect? Well, as you go above 6,000 feet, yeah, you could see 6 to 12 inches of snow. It is picking up on some accumulating snow in Chester at 4,500 feet. That might be borderline. You could see maybe a little bit of a mix there, but you're going to have to go, as I mentioned, above 5,000 feet before you start seeing any significant accumulating snow. All right. The ski park, right? That's what we want to talk about. Is it going to be in the form of rain or snow for the ski park? Well, I think we're going to be borderline. I think there might be times that it might be kind of a rain-snow mix, kind of a slushy snow throughout the day on Saturday, but the lower part of the ski park could see 6.9 inches of snow. Upper ski park could maybe see over a foot of snow. So that's good. That's good to see that we're not seeing it, the rain low enough or high enough, or should I say the snow levels aren't going to be so high that it's going to be mainly in the form of rain for the ski park. I think the ski park will predominantly see snow, but there may be points in time where it's kind of that slushy rain-snow mix. I think that could certainly happen. All right, so here's the overall setup that we're seeing and have seen, and that's the ridge of high pressure. So the storms over the Pacific, they've been butting up against that ridge, they've been breaking apart, and the main thing that we've seen are clouds, but no rain. And there's certainly no obsession for tomorrow. But take a look at Saturday. There's this little dip in the jet stream. We're seeing the rain coming in. This is what's coming in on Sunday and Monday, right? There's Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. And then we go into your Monday and Tuesday. There's that rain coming in. And what you'll notice here, and of course, we're talking about snow levels starting off fairly high, 6,000 feet, because of the warmer source of moist air coming in. What we've got here, though, with this, you see this is a trough of low pressure. This is cold air that's going to be kind of cooling down. That will allow snow levels to maybe drop down to about 4,000 feet, locally lower, maybe around 3,500 feet in some cases here for your Tuesday. Unfortunately, that's just in time for some of that mountain travel you may have to have or plans for mountain travel on Tuesday. And so chain requirements may be something we'll have to kind of watch here very closely for Tuesday. If you're traveling at all in the mountains, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of next week, you want to keep a close eye on the forecast because we're going to have to fine tune where those snow levels will be. So that's Tuesday. Now look at Wednesday. The latest forecast model wants to maybe bring in rain a little bit sooner than anticipated for Christmas Day. So I'm now calling for probably dry conditions for the first half of the day on Christmas, but by Christmas afternoon, evening, we may start to see some of that rain begin to move in. But then there you can see the day after Christmas, we've got what we call a zonal flow type pattern. It's the jet stream with the fast flow from west to east, and any moisture, any storms that are following that jet stream are heading right for us. That's what we've got for Thursday of next week. How about some more rain on Friday of next week? We still have that zonal flow pattern, keeping that push of moisture over Northern California. And as I mentioned, as we go into the weekend after Christmas, there still is a potential for more off and on rain. So how much rain can we expect at least through, well, this is through Christmas Day. As I mentioned, it'll be dry Christmas morning, but we could see 3 to 4 inches of rain there. We could see 4 to 5 inches of rain out towards the coast, and maybe 3/4 to 1.5 inches off to the north and east. So some good rain, but keep in mind, this is in a span, well, when the rain starts Saturday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this amount of rainfall is in a span of about 4 days. 4 to 5 inches, 3 to 4 inches in 4 days is pretty good, but it's not the type of rain that we're going to see a large amount of flooding. But there may eventually be the potential for mudslides, debris flows, and maybe some minor flooding towards the end of that period. Now we take a look at precipitation outlook, and we're still in that wetter than normal category, the darker shade of green indicating better chances of seeing above normal rainfall. And it looks pretty promising. Now we still have the warmer than normal conditions, which will keep those snow levels fairly high. But as I mentioned, there are going to be points in time, especially Christmas Eve, and maybe even the day after Christmas, it could be down to about 4,000 feet, give or take, depending on where you are. But otherwise, mainly above 5,000 or 6,000 feet. That's kind of why those warmer temperatures keeping those snow levels a little bit higher. Now the winds, yes, they're picking up here for tomorrow morning, and you can see also parts of central Siskiyou County. They pick up even stronger as we go into Friday afternoon, especially out towards Shasta Valley. Look at this, though. By the time we get into Saturday morning, now we're seeing gusts 40, 50, over 40 miles per hour. Potential for power outages, we've seen that. When we get in that 40-mile-an-hour plus range, power outages are a possibility. You can still see some gusty winds here. The reds, by the way, are upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. And a bit breezy for the valley for Saturday morning. But Saturday afternoon, still a bit gusty for central Siskiyou County and also to the eastern mountains, but the winds are starting to die down as we go into Saturday afternoon and Saturday night as well. So the main winds, I think the strongest winds will probably be Friday night, Saturday morning, and then dying down through the day on Saturday. There's a look at your wave heights. You can see that they are going to be fairly high still. They'll probably increase even more on Saturday as we start to see those winds pick up. There's also a beach hazard statement, which is still in effect through 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Why? Because of sneaker waves. What are sneaker waves? Well, you're on the beach, right? You're hanging out. Everything looks normal. Then suddenly there's a mad rush of water that comes in. A sneaker wave. It can sneak up on you, and before you know it, you're swept up in the ocean in a dangerous situation. So that's what's going on here through at least 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So looking at your marine forecast for your Friday, we do have those winds from the south at 15 to 20 knots, waves from the south at 6 feet at 6 seconds, and there you can see your high tide and your low tide for tomorrow. All right, so here's your forecast for tonight. Fog in the valley, patchy fog in many of the mountain locations, especially in Trinity County. Probably some patchy fog along the coast as well, with temperatures there in the upper 40s for your overnight lows. And there you can see, of course, taking you out to the higher elevations of the east, you're talking 20s and some lower 30s in there as well. So here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mainly in the 50s. Now on Friday, I've got you with mostly cloudy skies. Could you see a stray sprinkle? Sure, especially in the morning hours. And then better chances of that rain coming in by Saturday. Snow levels 6,000 feet, maybe down to 4,000 feet by Tuesday. And then the day after Christmas, maybe 3,500 feet. There's a North Coast neighborhood forecast, 62 in Eureka, Blue Lake about 64. Could see a stray sprinkle throughout the day tomorrow. 63 degrees in Smith River, 60 for Gas Key, and there's Willow Creek with a high of about 58 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. You too could see a stray sprinkle through the day tomorrow. Otherwise, snow levels fairly high Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. At this point, I'm still keeping it dry for your Christmas Day, but that may change in the next day or two. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s and 50s out towards Modoc County. Also maybe a stray sprinkle tomorrow, but the main event will be over the weekend and into early next week. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, mainly dry, mostly cloudy, temperatures in the mid-40s. And really, look at the temperatures for Friday through Tuesday. Basically between 45, 44, and 46 degrees, dropping a little bit here for your Christmas Day and the day after Christmas next Thursday. And your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Temperatures here are 100% going to depend on how quickly the fog burns off. I'm keeping it generally in the low to mid 50s for your daytime highs in the valley. If the fog burns off sooner than anticipated, probably upper 50s to low 60s. If it doesn't burn off at all, you're talking upper 40s to low 50s for your daytime highs. So again, that fog is going to play a major role as how warm or cool it gets for your daytime high. There's a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. First day of winter is on Saturday with, of course, that chance for showers, off and on rain for the weekend through most, if not all of next week. And again, I'm still keeping it dry for your Christmas Day on Wednesday, but keep in mind the forecast signals are beginning to inch closer to a potential for some showers. Well, that's going to do it for your evening forecast. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Have yourselves a great night.
Barr & Mudford is a top established firm here in the North State. Founded over a half-century ago, Barr & Mudford is protecting the rights of our neighbors and community. We take our commitment to our clients very seriously and provide a level of excellence unrivaled in the North State. Barr & Mudford, standing up for the rights of our neighbors and our beautiful community, serving Northern California with excellence.